This is one of the fastest ways to a $75,000 a month coaching business. And in this video, I'll walk you through the exact 6 steps that it takes to get there. But I'll also walk you through exactly why I'm not doing it anymore and what I'm doing instead. So here's some context about me and why I'm not doing that coaching business model anymore. So I co-scaled my last coaching business to $75,000 per month within just 1 year with my last business partner, Ethan Golding, which was about £56,000 per month. And we got 100% of our clients, our leads, our sales calls, our revenue from LinkedIn. And in this video, I'm gonna be walking you through the 6 exact steps that we took to get there so that you can take them and implement them into your own coaching business if you decide that you still want to build this type of business after. Because I very quickly realized that running a big business is not what I wanted to do anymore. And then I'm gonna explain exactly what I'm doing instead and why I think it's much better despite earning less revenue. So the first thing that you need to build a big coaching business is a really good offer that sells and converts super easily. And there's 3 main elements that you need to build that offer. Number 1 is a tangible outcome that you can help your clients achieve. Number 2 is a reasonable time frame that you can help them achieve that outcome in. And number 3 is a guarantee. Something like a money back guarantee, or I'll work with you for free until I help you achieve X, because why else should people trust you, right? I'll get back onto that point later on in the video. And as you can see, this is my current offer. I have founders book 5 to 10 plus qualified sales calls every week using my LinkedIn bakery system within 90 days. I have an outcome, which is 5 to 10 plus qualified sales calls per week. I have a time frame, which is 90 days, and I don't offer a guarantee. But if I did want to, I would put that into a headline too. And then I have a bonus, which is add your unique mechanism. I've called mine the LinkedIn bakery system because if you repeat the recipe every single time, you put the same ingredients in, i.e. content and DMs, then you'll get the same output every single time, every single week, and it's a predictable recipe, which is a loaf of bread, or in our case, sales calls. So come up with something cool, something unique to you that you can call your system, and it will make you stand out from other competitors in your industry and niche. And once you've got that offer, you then want to advertise it on your LinkedIn profile, in your content, on the sales calls, etc., etc. So once you've done that, we then want to get into the content funnel. Now, you want to do a really salesy content funnel, which attracts an ideal client audience, moves them to a middle of funnel, which is where you nurture them with your step-by-step, your knowledge, your processes, etc. And then lastly, bottom of funnel content, which is just showcasing case studies, testimonial, social proof. And this was the content funnel that we used to get from 0 to $75,000 a month within our coaching business. I'll break it down a little bit more in depth so you can fully understand it. So top of funnel was the content that we used to attract problem unaware and solution unaware clients and prospects. Because we went in to attract people who didn't even know that they had a problem yet. They knew they had frustration. They knew that they wasn't getting sales calls as much as they'd like to, but they didn't know why they weren't getting sales calls. They didn't know that they were doing LinkedIn the wrong way, etc., etc. And the idea of these posts was to make them aware that they did have a problem and get them to read it and say, holy shit, that sounds like me. This guy understands me. We didn't have any pictures or CTAs in this content. It's just making them aware of a problem. Very often they would then follow us because they liked what we were talking about. So then we would move them to the middle of funnel content, which is essentially building belief by showing them how we can help them change or solve their problem. And so we would be attracting people who are now problem aware, but they don't know the solution to solving that problem yet. And so we would give them actionable steps, step-by-step processes, frameworks to writing LinkedIn content, sending LinkedIn DMs, for example. And this would warm them up by showing them that we know what we're doing. And then lastly, bottom of funnel content. We're now attracting people who are A, problem aware and solution aware. And we want to show them that we are the best person to help them implement that solution. And so we would show them case studies, social proof, testimonials, client case studies, etc., to basically show them that our service works and that they can trust us to help them solve their problem now. At the end of each bottom funnel post, we have a direct call to action, which is book a call or DM me word, comment this, etc., etc. And off the back of that, we then get ready to buy a prospect who we can then go and speak to. And this was all we spoke about: LinkedIn stuff, LinkedIn frameworks, case studies, social proof. It was pretty boring, but it worked and it converted very, very well. So that was the content funnel that we went into. The third thing that you need to building a big coaching business is a DM process that consistently books in sales calls, and then get some appointment setters onto your account so they can handle that DM process for you. So that's exactly what we did. We built a good DM system using warm outreach, is what we like to call it. So when you post content every single day, top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel, you get people engaging with that content. They comment on it, they like the post, they view your profile, they follow you, they connect with you, etc., etc. And so we wanted to engage with these people so that we could then be speaking to people who already knew exactly what we did, they'd seen that we'd worked with other people and got them results, and therefore there'd be more trust there. And that's why it's called warm outreach, because you're not just doing to cold prospects, you're speaking to people who already know and are more likely to respond. And our aim wasn't to pitch them, it was to uncover pains, uncover fears, uncover desires, and eventually get them to reveal that they did have a problem or a goal that they wanted to achieve. And then we would offer a call to help them. So here's an example. We'd start the conversation with a nice specific compliment, just to help them understand that we're a real person, and then ask them, how's LinkedIn working for you so far in terms of booking calls? Take them through a few more questions, which are in between here, and then at the end, get to the point where we can offer them a call. Then we wanted to track all of the data, and I literally mean every single metric of your outreach needs to be tracked within a Google Sheet. You need to be tracking how many conversations you start, how many connections you send, how many of them get accepted, how many people reply to your conversations, how many people you have to follow up, how many people respond to the follow-ups, how many people get offered a call, how many people book in a call, how many people get followed up for booking the call, etc., etc. You need to literally be tracking every single metric so that you can make your sales calls predictable when you bring an appointment setter in. And so these are the kind of metrics we were tracking. We were tracking even more than this. Every single week, we had to train the setter on how to do this, and we'd review it with them. And if there was one number off, such as the connection request acceptance rate was low, the rest of the numbers would get fucked over. And so we needed to stay on top of them every single day. Then, once we had a system that was working and it was consistently bringing us in sales calls, we hired a setter and put them on the account. Then we tracked their data, keep them in training until they hit similar KPIs to what we was doing, and then consistently improve that with them and improve the processes and make sure the data is staying consistent week in, week out, so that we always knew we was gonna get sales calls into the diary. And because we had my account and Ethan's account, we needed 2 appointment setters that we had to manage to make sure we was getting all of these KPIs hit. So that was the third step to building this big coaching business. Then we started using lead magnets and email funnels. We started introducing this into our lead gen funnel. And to be fair, to begin with, we had a massive spike of revenue because we had a load of new people who wanted the lead magnets. Emails were converting at a pretty high rate, and that meant that we obviously made quite a few sales. So here's how you can do this too. Step 1, build a good lead magnet. Lead magnet should solve a problem on the tin, i.e. how to book sales calls on LinkedIn, how to lose weight within the next 90 days. Whatever your service is, you should build a lead magnet to help them solve one of their core problems. But when you actually build the lead magnet itself, you don't want it to focus on actual strategies. You want it to focus more on the mindset around how to do it and getting them motivated to doing it. Because that's what's gonna get someone to buy once they have the lead magnet, right? If I create a DM step-by-step process lead magnet, okay, someone might open it up and go, okay, this looks really, really good. And he might buy from me. Chances are gonna try and implement it for the next 30 to 60 days. They're not gonna get results for the next 30 to 60 days because it's a DM process that takes a while to learn. They might even implement it wrong and then they think I'm shit and they never buy from me. But if I talk about the urgency of needing to send LinkedIn DMs and why they probably can't do it themselves, and here's a little bit about how you should be sending them when you start, they're going to feel compelled after reading that lead magnet, and guess who they're going to come to? Me or Ethan. And so we built a lead magnet that solves issues, something like this. For example, my Miro board on my full LinkedIn system. And by the way, if you want access to this full system breakdown in Miro, DM me full system on LinkedIn and I'll send you it over. That's my little lead magnet there, but I'm not going to get you to sign up to an email funnel or anything like that. And then we wanted to write a post with a comment CTA, and the post should be teasing exactly what they're going to get inside of the lead magnet. We'd added an image showcasing part of the lead magnet to tease it, and then at the end of the lead magnet we'd put a comment call to action such as comment word if you want it. So here's an example of the post, and here's an example of people commenting no salesy because they wanted access to the lead magnet. Then what we would do is we would send them to the sign up page and we'd say, hey, just saw that you requested the lead magnet, here's the link to sign up to get access to it. And then that would take them to a sign up page where they put in their name and their email, and then they'd get sent a resource, but then they'd also get added to our backend CRM where they'd now be added to an email funnel. So once they've got access to the lead magnet, they've signed up to it, the setter then takes them through the DM process that we spoke about earlier, this one here. So then they'd ask them about their pains, their fears, their desires, try and get them to reveal something and then offer them a call. But most of the time, people just wanted to try and use the lead magnet for a few weeks. And so we would then nurture them with an evergreen email sequence for our lead mag signups. Again, we wanted to offer as much value as possible within these email sequences, but we wanted to mainly focus on mindset and urgency as to why they need to take action now. And so that's what we did within the emails. And the aim was to get them to book onto a sales call. And this is where most of our sales calls from the lead magnets came. People would sign up to the lead magnet, try them out for a month or two, and then they'd get a course of emails across that time, and then eventually book in a sales call most of the time with most of the prospects. Again, worked really, really well, but it was super complicated to keep running because we need to track all of the data within the email open rates, email close rates, call booking rates, call close rates, etc., etc. It was a nightmare to run, but it did work well when it did run. Now, because we was doing all of these things, right? Me and Ethan were writing content, sending DMs, managing lead magnet sequences and email funnels, etc., and a team to run all of that as well. We didn't have much time, and so we needed to get a closer in. Again, we made sure that our process was working, brought in a closer, trained them up on our process, and then we needed to track their KPIs week in, week out. So how many qualified calls they took, the show up rate, how many of them closed, how many of them got to the pitch, how many of them said no before the pitch, etc., etc. We had daily KPI checks with the closer, we had weekly review calls to help them review their sales calls, and then we also asked them for feedback on lead quality and the intent of the leads so that we could then implement that into the marketing strategies. It worked well, but again, it was a complicated process to manage. And the goals with both the setters and the closers was to get the setters booking quality leads and set high intent, and the closers to maintain a high close rate. And it seems easy on paper, and it kind of is once you've been doing it for 6 months, but trying to transfer every single bit of knowledge you have about booking in quality leads, finding quality leads, setting a good intent for the sales call, maintaining a high close rate, make sure every single part of the sales call is working well, etc., etc. It takes a little while to train everyone up on that, and it's also a difficult thing to manage and stay consistent. But again, once it was working, it worked really, really well. And so now we had all of the pieces to the lead gen and the sales funnel. We needed one last part, and that was client results. We was obviously very, very busy, and to build a $75,000 a month coaching business at this kind of level, we needed other people who could help us manage the clients because we didn't have enough time to do one-to-one coaching calls every single week. And so we brought in some client success managers, or coaches is what we called them, trained them up on our process that we took our clients through. So obviously how to build a good offer, how to build a profile, how to build a sales nav list, how to do DM, how to do content, etc., etc., etc. Made sure that they were hitting the same KPIs as we was with the client results, and then gave them their own set of clients and a rev share of them clients. And it worked. We got really good client results, to be fair. Here's just some of them that we got over the time. And yeah, we trained them on a 30, 60, 90 day plan. Within 30 days, you need to be doing this. 60 days, you need to be doing this. 90 days, you need to be taking on your own clients. Track their client results, make sure it stays consistent. So by the end of this process, we had appointment setters, closers, client success managers, complicated lead mag funnels that we needed to track, outreach KPI and data that we needed to track every single day, content that we needed to write about new processes, new systems, new step-by-steps. And it converted well because it was a super salesy funnel. And that's exactly what it was, a funnel. But when funnels go wrong at any stage, everything underneath that gets fucked. And so if our content got low impressions that week, we wouldn't have as many leads. If our appointment setters were off sick, our DMs didn't get sent out. If one of our lead magnet emails wasn't converting at the rate it should be, it didn't convert for the rest of the next 2 weeks until we fixed it. And so it was a constant management process of having to managing people, manage data, and make sure that everything was working at once. And it was stressful, and it did get us good revenue, but after paying out for the softwares, the team, the setters, the closer, the CSMs, we didn't have much profit left over to pay ourselves with. And don't get me wrong, we was earning good money for ourselves, but we could have earned that and way more profit in our own pocket if we'd had a lean team and a good lead gen system that didn't need all this management. And it was also stressful to run. I was working 12-hour days trying to build out new lead magnets, new email funnels, new DM sequences for the clients, etc. And so that's why I'm not doing it anymore. So why did I quit a $75,000 a month coaching business, and what am I doing instead? Well, I started business for freedom, whether it's time freedom, financial freedom, location freedom. And by running this huge coaching business with loads of team members, I was losing that because on paper I was doing super well. I had a big team, big revenue coming in. That's not what I wanted because it wasn't giving me the reason that I started business. And so I've now built a solo consulting business which prioritizes profit over revenue, consistency over spikes of revenue, and time freedom over ego. And I've built a lead gen system that's allowed me to support this kind of business. Before, with the team run system, I was having big spikes of revenue and then next month it wouldn't be as high. It was complex to run. We had data we needed to track, KPIs, people we needed to manage. If one thing was off, everything else got fucked. I had a big team to manage and we need to have daily check-in calls, make sure everyone was happy with what they was doing and that they didn't need any more support or training. We had a tired audience because we was constantly putting out the same type of content, right? Step-by-step processes, checklists, lead magnets. And after a while, people just got bored of it because they was like, I've seen this 100 times. And we was constantly fixing things. As I said, if one number was off, the rest of the numbers need to be off. And so we needed to make sure that number was always the same, and the same with the rest of the numbers. We had a big funnel, which meant we needed to get people from into the top of the funnel all the way down. We were spending 2 to 4 hours a day, every single day, managing that lead gen system, managing the team, managing the KPIs, improving the processes, the lead magnets, etc. And yes, on paper we had high revenue, but we also had high costs. And so after all of this, I had not much time left for myself. I was stressed out, and I didn't have much money to go in my own pocket because we was running a big revenue business that was expensive to run. And so this is why I built my LinkedIn bakery system. A simple lead gen system that's consistent, predictable, and still books me 5 to 10 qualified sales calls every single week without all of the other shit needed to manage that and make sure it's always coming in. And it's consistent, it's simple to run, it's predictable. I have a lean team. I each have one appointment set up. I have high profits because I don't have much outgoings, and it's an ecosystem. I don't need to get a load of people into the top of funnel and then bring them down. Someone watches one of my pieces of content, then they might watch one of my YouTube videos, maybe one of my Instagram reels, see a few more bits of content, and rather than trying to move them down this funnel, I'm just nurturing them by talking about who I am, what my values are, what my beliefs are, what my system looks like, why it's built like that, why I like cars, why I like spending time with my friends, my family, my girlfriend, etc. Why it's really important to me to get good client results, etc., etc. And earlier on, I mentioned in the offer part that you must have a good guarantee because why else would people trust you, right? Well, here's the difference. I don't even need a guarantee anymore because people want to work with me for me, not my guarantees, not my offer anymore. They want to work with me because I believe that you should have a predictable system that only takes 30 to 60 minutes a day so that you can support your family and your future foundations, and so that you can travel and enjoy your money and enjoy your time and build a business that is built around your life, not the other way around. And that's exactly why I built this business and this lead gen system, because it's lifestyle driven and it only takes 30 to 60 minutes a day to run, and it works super well. So here's a little bit about how it works. I have one offer and 3 different deliverables. My offer is 5 to 10 sales calls every single week through LinkedIn. The 3 deliverables are do it yourself, which is I'll give you my system, you go away and implement it, read it yourself. Done with you, which is where I consult you one-to-one on how to get from where you are now to where you want to get to with your business. I teach you all the ins and outs of my lead gen system and other parts of growing your business because I teach you things from my previous ones. And then my done for you system, which is where you pay us and I'll get my team to run your whole LinkedIn and YouTube system to consistently book qualified sales calls into your diary. You can go away and just close them. And I only have 2 types of content going out, LinkedIn content, and then I move them onto my YouTube channel, which is where the nurturing really happens, like you're watching this video now. And so my LinkedIn content is now focused more about stuff that I really enjoy writing about. I talk about my cars, my family, my health, my holidays, my girlfriend, my clients, etc., etc. And rather than just having to talk about step-by-steps and checklists all the times, I get to write about things that I enjoy, and that means that I attract more people who also enjoy them things. So then I'm working with clients who I enjoy working with, clients who resonate with my values, etc. And then the YouTube is where the nurturing really happens, because that's where I actually show off my system and more of the boring stuff, right? I have one setter and I don't even need him. He's optional. I just like having him there because he saves me a little bit of time and I get to help him learn with growing his business as well. I have an ecosystem, which means I get to, as I say, bring people into my world. Maybe they don't convert straight away. Maybe they don't get pushed down this really hard funnel. But in 3 to 6 months, because they consume so much of my content, they'll trust me more and they'll be more ready to buy. And the best part is it's consistent and predictable. I've booked more than 5 qualified sales calls every single week for the past 6 weeks in a row since I launched my solo consulting business. All through content, all through DMs, without the fancy lead magnets, without the fancy email funnels. Just people seeing my content and wanting to work with me because they like who I am, my values, my beliefs, my system, etc. And if you want to see a more in-depth breakdown of my LinkedIn bakery system, click on the top right-hand corner in the description. I'm not sure where I'm going to put the link. And you'll see a full breakdown video of how exactly my LinkedIn bakery system works, from DMs to content, etc. And to me, this business is way better than running a big coaching business, because you now have the blueprint to run a big coaching business. You know exactly what type of content you need to do. You know exactly what type of DMs you need to do and what type of appointment setters you need. You know the lead magnet funnel from lead mags to emails. You know exactly what you need to do once you're selling and you need to get a closer in, etc. And you could go and do that. But if you want a lead gen system that doesn't take hours to run every single day, it's not stressful because you need to make sure every single bit of data is on track. You don't need to manage people every single day. And you want a lead gen system that allows you to live the lifestyle that you actually want, which is traveling, still supporting your family, still building a really good foundation for your future family and yourself, and all of them other things without having to work 4 hours a day building this lead gen system, then this is the system for you, because it's consistent, predictable, and it still brings in plenty of qualified sales calls. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. I hope you've remembered to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of my stuff, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram, where I post some more short form content and stuff about my life and myself. Hope you have a good rest of your day.